Little sip of that morning coffee. So today we're going to continue our end of season content. Try to get you guys into the highest spots on the leaderboards that you're going to be able to hit. We're going to go over our 2's, 3's, and 4's Rathma push spec. Get through all that. I'm going to get you guys through each set. 2's and 3's are very similar, if not the same. 4's changes up a little bit, and I'll even give you a little bonus, breakdown on the speed runs too there, in case you guys are just getting into Rathma speed runs. But first, a new segment, getting to know your tomato sauce boss. As I am the master of all sauces, tomato based, I figure today we'll go into the top 5 hot sauces in the world. Let me get my purse. Boom. Cholula, 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 Cholula. Top 5 hot sauces in the world. Alright, let's jump right into our 2's and 3's. Rathma push specs. I like to call this the Immortal Rat. Now, first and foremost, how are you achieving immortality? Well, you need a good Z Necro. That is, usually the start of your immortality is your partner, because you are pushing with other people. So a couple highlights on Z Necro's build. Really gearing, not so much build, because there's a little bit of flex there. But you have your illusory boots. Those are a big one. You got to nimbly navigate throughout the mobs. You need your Ingeom in the cube. Your Leoric's crown in the cube. That's all for cooldown. Ring of Royal Grandeur in the cube. That's so you get that 3-piece Born set for more cooldown. Nemesis bracers, because your rat is going to be blasting elite packs the whole time. And then the 3 gems that your Z-Neck is going to use is Gogok, Toxin, and Ice Blink. Those are just DPS gains and more cooldown. Let's jump right in and take a look at our gearing, though. And we can go right to the little 2-player. Scroll down a little and view our hero details. Alright, now, why do we call it the Immortal Rat? Well, this is important. You're not only using Danyetta's over here, or Dainty's Binding, and that's, going with your Decrepify skill. I use Borrowed Time for more cooldown, obviously. Now, that's going to get you the DR from the belt, as well as some DR from Decrepify there. They're going to be doing less damage, 30% less damage, the mobs that you keep cursed, which is really big. But on top of that, you're getting another 30% additional DR from Bone Armor, and you're getting the damage bonus there with Sith of the Cycle. Those two things together make this spec very formidable as far as, the damage reduction. You're going to be able to go through... Excuse me. You're going to be able to go through a lot of, things that you would not have been able to go through in other specs, in speed runs and whatnot. You couple that with all the globes you're getting from your Z Necro, and your Jessith set. You're going to use the Dark Mending Rune on your skeletons. Keep that health topped off. You're going to have a nice health pool here. And your damage is going to be improving throughout this entire process by how many enemies that you keep cursed. So the synergy on this build, the Immortal Rat, it goes very, very well together. Bloodsuck is going to keep those globes coming in, because in 2's you're not going to have that Z-Barb with you. You could drop it in 3's, however, if I do recall correctly, actually I might have dropped it for, what do you call it, for the teleport, so we'll get to that in a second. But mainly, I just wanted you guys to understand the most important aspect of the 2-man and 3-man push, and even also into 4-man pushes with Rathma. Your main DR, your DR gets pretty crazy between the curse, your belt, and your bone armor. I mean, altogether, you can really stand in some stuff that you wouldn't be able to, hang with. So let's jump in. Let's take a look at the 3-player. What I did in my 3-player setup. We did a 110 here. I posted that on Reddit. I will be pushing all of these much higher, but prior to the end of this season. I don't know about much higher, but we are going to go up a couple GR levels and everything. 2's, I'm definitely going 110 plus. I just haven't pushed it as of yet. But yeah, in 3's, You can see here we drop Bloodsuck, and we go with the Potency rune here for Blood Rush. You know, mobs are going to be doing a little bit more damage to you. You're going to have your Barb, you're going to have your Ignore Pain. He's going to be Pac-Manning it up for you, and you're just going to be blasting mobs. You know, just blasting them the whole time. So you're going to need a good Z-Barb here in 3's. You know, they're going to need to be very familiar with the Pac-Man spec. Your Z-Necro going to be the same old, you know, a lot of cooldown. Keep that perma LOTD up, or as permanent as possible. You know, pop those globes as much as you can, and your Barb's going to be nimble-bimble navigating around, getting you guys what you need there. So 2's and 3's pretty much the same. In 2's you're using Bloodsuck, in 3's you're going to go into Blood Rush or Bloodsucker for the you know, sucking up those globes, because you're not going to have your Z-Barb with you in 2's. So really the only difference in 2's and 3's is that, you know, your 2's you're going to be sucking up the globes yourself, and 3's you're going to have a Z-Barb there, nimble navigating around, popping globes that whole time for you. Now, it changes up a little bit in 4's because we get rid of the Jessus set. You know, we're looking to really maximize our damage there, and maximize the Overwhelming Essence passive. So you can see here we did a 113 Rathma. I mean, I think we can get to 115 pretty easily, which that's my goal for the season as a rat, about 115-ish. Could go higher, who knows, but I might end up making an RGK spec because I did get a Primal Trags to mess around with. So, as you can see, we dropped Jessa's set in 4's. You know, you're still keeping everything that makes you immortal. You have your belt, you have your curse, and you have your bone armor. So that's a ton of DR right there. You ain't dying in this spec if you don't want to. You know, you just got to play it pretty smart. You'll see the way that I move around in my videos. You know, they're on this YouTube channel, so you just look around a little bit, check my my 2's clear, my 3's clear, my 4's clear. They're all here. I went back to Bloodsucker on this one. It's, you know, 4's gets a little bit hectic. You don't need to use it if, you know, you have a really good Z-Barb. I have a great Z-Barb, but I feel a little bit more comfortable in a 4-man scenario running Bloodsuck. You know, obviously you have your Sim Reservoir, you have your Curse, you're going to rock Spreading Malediction, get you know, keep those 20 stacks up. Now, when you're running with 2 rats, because when you're pushing rat, you know, you're going 2 rats, plus a Z-Neck and a Z-Barb. There is a strategy here where you both take the curse, and you know, you're going to both be spreading malediction through your curse. However, if you overwrite the same mobs, the second guy who puts the curse on there gets credit for it. So the first guy's curse is overwritten. Now, here's how you handle that situation. So prior to getting into the rift, you just, you know, discuss it with your other Rathma. One of you is going to mark the elite, like literally drop the curse on top of the elite on each elite pack as your Z-Barb is gathering stuff, and one of you is going to drop off of the elite. So you have, you know, one person always marking the outside, one person designated as the elite marker. He's going to get his stacks from the mobs that are directly around the elite, and your other Rathma is going to be marking around. You know, you can both keep your stacks up pretty high, if not both at max stacks the entire time, as long as your Z-Barb is bringing mobs in there, so you guys can mark appropriately. But that's how, I mean, it's a huge damage bonus. You both need to run it. Now, one other little trick there that you can do is one of you runs Bloodsucker to, excuse me, to bring globes in for both of you, while the other one gets a 30% attack speed bonus throughout the entire rift by running Bone Spear Crystallize. So that is a another little thing that, you know, you guys have to discuss before the rift. Who wants to be the Bloodsucker? I was the Bloodsucker in our group because I had lower Paragon, and I let my buddy Bonds over there, you know, jump in and run Bone Spear. So you'll see over here, Bonds is running the Bone Spear Crystallization rune. So it's a 3% attack speed buff. It stacks 10 times. You do have to keep it up. You know, you could number lock it if you really want to, but it really cuts into, you know, the play style a little bit. I like just doing it personally, or doing it myself there. But it's a great attack speed buff. It's a great damage bonus for the rift, and as long as you guys are, you know, marking together, by together I mean separately, and you know who is marking each pack and how you're handling that. You just designate one person to mark the elite, one person to mark mobs outside the elite. You'll both keep your stacks at least over 15. You keep that damage bonus pumping because you need as much damage as possible in these rifts. But remember, dead DPS is no DPS, so we drop those witching hours from our speed runs, and we go right into Danietta's binding. You're getting a lot of extra DR from that, and whatever you have marked does 30% less damage. So it's a pretty big, pretty big symbiotic unison relationship there. Getting into the 4-player speeds, I personally I like to use Devour Satiate. Gives you more health. I don't really run the curse with Cursing Malediction in my speeds. I drop that, keep Devour going, because dead DPS is no DPS in speeds. So you're running a Witching Hour. You're maximizing your damage there. Um, you know, Me personally, I don't run the Cursing Malediction for the little extra bonus that you're going to get. I mean, we still run 4-minute 101s without the curse. The other rat that I usually run speeds with actually does still run curse, but I prefer to, I think I die less because I have a little bit more of a health pool for the speeds. So, my opinion, your 4-player speeds between 99s and 101s, you're going to run Devour Satiate, drop the Cursing Malediction. You could run Blood is Power, and your Skeletons if you really want there. Keep that duration up in speeds. Which is good because you're moving a lot, so you're not always going to have max globes dropping at the same time, but you're going to be blowing up every mob in your path, that whole lawnmower mentality. So, my opinion, you go with a little bit more health over a little bit more damage because you're really not going to need it in speeds. You're gonna be clearing 3 to 5 minute 99s to 101s once your gear gets to a certain point anyway. So that's pretty much it. Remember the most important thing with belts: Witching Hour for speeds, Danietta's for pushes. I just wanted to go over a little bit of information in this video to get you guys to pushing to your maximum levels prior to the end of the season. So I hope you enjoy the content. Throw a subscribe, throw a like, and have a great day. Have a great morning. Take it easy.